Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. I did a video earlier today on the shooting in Oregon. This is a follow-up video with all the details they have released since. Everything coming out is proving that this is another shooting hoax by the numbers. If I am wrong about this being a hoax, I'll tell you what, Truth Seeker. If somebody can show me that I am wrong about this being a hoax and lives in Roseburg, Oregon, I will drive down there. I want to personally investigate, because if this is not a hoax, then it's even worse than I think, and that means the federal government is finding ways to truly murder people. So if I'm mistaken this is a hoax, you let me know. I will be down there. Moving on. Roseburg has gematria of 42, a very special number to the Freemasons. They say this is the 142nd school shooting since Sandy Hook. This school shooting has all sorts of ties to Sandy Hook, so it's funny they bring it up. We'll go over those. But check this out. 42 and 142 have a connection. When you write out 42 in simple English gematria using the alphabetic order, it sums to 142. Words such as terrorist have gematria of 142. As it happens, President Obama has a gematria of 142. What's scary is in the last video, I showed how this shooting foreshadows something for October 6th possibly, and I just noticed that in history, October 6th is when the Pope met with the president in 1979. That was John Paul II, who replaced John Paul I, the 33-day Pope who died on the date with 44 numerology. Many videos on that. Anyway, October 6th is that day in history from 1979. The Pope isn't here to visit with the president, but all of these numbers are synchronized with the Pope. So it's just interesting that they make this point in the media, and this number does have this connection to the president himself, who has been front and center in all of these shootings from Sandy Hook up to the present. So anyway, the 142 points established. The article also says this is the 247th mass shooting in 238 days. That's a lot of shootings, and that's how it's been in the mainstream media. Busy, busy, busy with shooting hoax by the numbers after shooting hoax. And again, if I'm wrong about these being hoaxes, then they are even worse than I am stating, because that means the federal government is truly killing people instead of just deceiving the entire nation that people have been killed, which is bad enough. Anyway, today's shooting took place in Oregon, the 33rd state. They said 13 people were killed and 20 injured by the final count. At first it was 10 killed, 20 injured, but 13 plus 20 sums to 33. Oregon's abbreviation is OR, 15 plus 18, 33. This shooting happens on the first day of October, the only month with 33 gematria. It took place in the town of Umpqua, Truth Seeker. Umpqua has gematria of 26, and the reason that's so interesting is because of its connections to Newtown, Connecticut. Before I show you the connections to Newtown, I just want you to know that a federal court ruled today, October 1st, the same day as the shooting, that a family of the Newtown, Connecticut Sandy Hook school shooting, wrongful death has been ruled for the first time by a federal court. Again, the shooting in Newtown's a place with 33 gematria, just like October, just like federal government. And remember, the federal government is in Washington, D.C., that's its headquarters. Washington, D.C. sums to 137, which is the 33rd prime number. That's why they code all this. This is the agenda of our government. The mainstream media is federal agenda propaganda on the daily. And with passing time, it becomes more and more obnoxious, more and more provoking. Keep in mind that Newtown, Connecticut is home to the nation's second biggest gun lobby behind the NRA, directly across the street from the school shooting. It's just an hour's drive or less from New Haven, Connecticut, where Yale and Skull and Bones is located. Notice that Newtown begins with 555, just like Connecticut. Connecticut's the fifth state. In Washington, D.C., the War Department is the Pentagon, five-sided figure, 5-acre court in the middle that is 5 floors tall that sits across from the Washington Monument that is 555 feet tall. I show you this just so you see the significance of these numbers, why they're coded, where they're coded, and how they trace back to our federal government. Notice how in Newtown, every single letter converts to a 5 in Pythagorean gematria. It's where you compress each letter to a single digit, except for T and O, which reduced to 2 and 6, a lot like 26. In the Newtown, Connecticut shooting, 26 people were killed. The shooter was named Adam Lanza. If you take the A's out of his name, you're left with LNZ. L's the 12th letter, N's the 14th. The shooting happened on December 14th or 12/14, and 26 people were killed. Plus, think about what 12 plus 14 is, and it is 26. Again, today's shooting in Oregon took place in Umpqua, which has the 26 gematria. And on the same day as this shooting, a federal story about the Sandy Hook victims. Also interesting to point out, Oregon is the 33rd state, the only with a gematria of 74. Today is the 274th day of the year. When there was the shooting in Oregon last year, it was reported as the 74th shooting since the Sandy Hook shooting. This time it's the 142nd. Its next door neighbor, Washington, is the 42nd state because George Washington's birthday was the 42nd day of the year on the old calendar. So heads up, Washington, the next door neighbor. Also, earlier today, I covered this. In all the shootings this year, 106 and 239 have been paired together. I shouldn't say all of them, but several of them have. I made a video about this today before this shooting happened, and then look, this town where the shooting happened, established September 23rd, and then it's named after Aaron Rose, who has name gematria of 106. That might seem obscure and off the wall if you're new here, but if you go back and watch my video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Not only has this been coded into shootings, it's been coded into things such as the Philadelphia train wreck, where the train crashed at 9:23 p.m., traveling 106 miles per hour. The name Philadelphia, where the train wreck happened, comes from Revelation in the Bible. It is named after the capital of Jordan until the year 106 AD, another 106 in Philadelphia. 33 and 74, very important numbers in Revelation. Also, True Seeker, earlier today, CNN's first headline had the 113 coding like mainstream, green screen, dishonest. Check this out. In Oregon, there was a story this year about a teacher who was terrified by an active shooter drill at her school. She said what happened was a police officer just busted in the door, shot her with blanks, said, "Boom, you're dead." She was terrified. She didn't know what was going on. And so she's suing. And this story was in the mainstream press. It happened at Pine Eagle School District number 61. And what I notice about Pine Eagle School District is it has gematria of 113. So look at this. I see this story as a tease from the mainstream media kind of telling us what's really going on in these shootings, but then going wink, wink, and making it seem like when this kind of stuff happens, a teacher sues, and there's, consequences for however you want to explain this, the abruptness, the rudeness of this. This took place on April 26th, the 116th day of the year, like 911 upside down. The teacher's name was Linda McLean, having gematria of 88, like poison and program. Mick in Jewish gematria is a 33 coding. You see that a lot in these hoaxes. And 43 is interesting because the word massacre equals 43. With Sandy Hook, they always bring up the word massacre. So just wanted you to see all this, True Seeker. This Roseburg, it is actually the second time since 2006 that there has been a shooting in Roseburg, Oregon. I want to show you this real quick. Where do I have this up here? Check this out, True Seeker. In 2006, on February 23rd, 223 like the Synagogue of Satan, like 322 backwards like Yale Skull and Bones, remember right next to Newtown, Connecticut. The shooter's name was Vincent, a 33 name, familiar numbers. The victim has interesting name gematria, but that name Monty has 26. Just like Umpqua, the number that connected us to Newtown and Sandy Hook. see if I got something else here to show you, Truth Seeker. Remember Sandy Hook, where the parent that went on TV was Robbie Parker, and before he spoke about how sad he was for his daughter, he was smiling? Both the names Robbie and Parker, 33. Again, that is the number of the hoax. Oregon, the 33rd state. October, the only month with 33 Gematria. Also, today has 26 numerology, bringing all those 26s together. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.